And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net should any emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog net is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the loudest, best-sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. And today we're currently featuring over 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And you can access these recordings by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for KC9VKV followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word logbook. And we also have a new series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word Highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature philosophical kinds of QSOs. That's KC9VKV Highlights on a YouTube search. Both KC9VKV Logbook and KC9VKV Highlights are segments of our main YouTube homepage of Jim's Radio Story, where we celebrate a 50-year career in commercial broadcasting, a 50-year journey from a 5-watt pirate radio station as a 12-year-old to production director of a major 50,000-watt AM broadcast facility. And the thing that makes this truly a unique story is that I have the actual audio masters from all along the way, over 2,600 shows, including many full-length major music concerts and radio documentaries. You'll have to check it out and subscribe. Rate Jim's Radio Story on a YouTube search. Our mission statement for the Qso-Vlog network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 4 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. Now the audio from these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also in this selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas. One aimed at 0 degrees, one aimed at 90 degrees, and the number 3 is aimed at 134 degrees. And these are run as a directional scanner array with a manual voting system 6-position rotary selector. Also today, on the transmit side, we'll be running our no SWR, specially oriented resonant dipole antenna. One leg of this resonant dipole runs broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg runs broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today we'll be running our input source indicator, so when we switch from an internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. As we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA5 to be understood by all. And as we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you will protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you'll reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this part of the band has many nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their bandpass to no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now let's check in and see if Charlie K1GZL is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up north in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Jim, very Q5. You're running an S6 to 9 direct, as I don't have any SDR capabilities. Hope you copy okay. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm copying you about 10 over on Arlington right now.
Okay, real fine. I've got a very interesting thing here. The first few this is K1 George 0 London K1GZL. You'll hear a BK 2CBC. I think his name is Jeff. This was recorded maybe a half a year ago before my 40-meter quad went on. And this is 40, but it's only for 3 seconds. Then Captain Mike flying out there. He was near Chicago, and then on the ramp in Philadelphia, and that was today. The 7th of October. Let me see if I've got it. Wait a minute.
One flight at 17 hours. It really takes you out of you, Charlie. K1GZL, VK2CBC.
Okay, Scott.
Charlie, just coming up over the lake right now, Charlie. We're now over Lake Forest and just went over the water here. Let me see. WA30, any copy on KX4 Whiskey Charlie?
It was in Lake Michigan.
Charlie. Yeah, we're going to come within 26 miles or so of Weirton today, but in 1 hour from now we'll be well into our descent there, so I'm not going to be able to talk to them there. But we're moving along pretty well. We got a 70-knot tailwind right now. We're doing about 530 knots, so in about 20 minutes we'll be over Cleveland. That might be within line of sight there, but he's probably going to be busy with the birthday cake there, so I'll probably miss him in an hour. But anyway, well, thanks for the relay, Charlie. K1GZL, KX4 Whiskey Charlie. On the ground here in Philadelphia on upper transmitters, and yeah, Charlie, great job behind you there. You're 5.9 plus. Got true, not as good as you were. I think you told me I was up as high as 40 over at one point there on 20. But yeah, great copy. Absolutely stunning day here in Philadelphia. Beautiful weather. So 25 degrees. There's not a cloud in the sky, so great visibility. So we'll enjoy this weather while we have it. K1GZL, K4, Charlie.
Okay, Jim, there's Captain Mike. Had landed on the airport in Philadelphia, which, of course, is on the south end of Philadelphia there. Previous to that, he was up over near Chicago, and then working eastward from there. So, radio conditions were absolutely superb today. I hope you copied all this. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger. Charlie wound up on Rochester, old favorite Rochester for your transmissions. All were A-OK. And during that time, I went back to try to bring Milford up. And like I said, I was getting them, but it was like their antenna was disconnected today. So I don't know really what's going on there, but I'll be checking back during the afternoon off and on to see if Milford comes back up for good. So 73 up that way, Charlie. Roger.
Okay, real fine there. We'll try to catch you next week. There, Jim. And good luck with everything, and thank you very much for letting me come into your speaker there, so to speak. So it's always a pleasure. KC9VKV, K1GZL, we are clear. It's been a pleasure, Jim.
Roger, Charlie. As always, 73 up that way. Thank you so much. We'll see you next Friday. And just a reminder, this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. My name is Jim, KC9VKV, and I'm better known in some circles as Dr. VKV. And we are recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We'll post this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days. So when you go to YouTube, just do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. And that will take you to our YouTube Qso-Vlog page, where we're currently featuring over 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. This recording will be cut number 1 in that series, regardless of what YouTube says. And we also have a new series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor Highlights. KC9VKV followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature philosophical kinds of QSOs. You'll have to check it out. KC9VKV highlights on a YouTube search. So without further ado, let's open the show. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
November
7 Lima Charlie Tango.
Let's see here. November 7 Lima Charlie Tango. Is that a Roger?
Copy that.
Roger. Lima Charlie Tango. What is the name there?
Yeah, the name is Seth, Sierra Echo Tango Hotel, located in Knoxville, Tennessee. I got you booming in here at 5.9, sounding good. Over.
Roger, Seth. You're in Tennessee. And what radio are you running today, sir?
I've got the people's radio, the ICOM 7300, and I just put up a new antenna. I've got you on a 128-foot long wire here in the mountains, and I'm able to have it strung up off the back of the house. So I've got it hung up over a tree far off in the distance, and so hopefully I'm getting out pretty good. But I've got you on 100 watts on my IC 7300, my new long wire. Over.
Roger, Seth. Okay, I'm copying you on a Michigan SDR. It's a new one to me. I usually use Milford, but they're not operating for some reason today. So if you'd be interested in our setup procedure, first thing is to double check that you're in that 100 to 2900 wide bandpass mode on your transmitter. 100 to 2900, roger, roger.
100 to 2900, roger, roger.
I seem to be in there. My having some splatter.
Yes, sir. Well, you might check on that later. 100 to 2900 will give you the best performance on that 7300. It's called wide mode. All right. So our actual setup procedure starts with you engaging your compressor at a 3. It's a token amount, but it'll do just what we need to do to get to that 3 dB dynamic range at the end. So compression on at a 3, roger.
Compression on at a 3, roger.
Yeah, I'm not copying you on that. Or you want me to change the setting in my radio?
Yes, sir. Compression on at a 3. Double check if you're there already. Fine. If not, go ahead. Compressor on at a 3. Roger.
Compressor on at a 3. Roger.
Do you know the commands in the radio where I can find that setting?
Hang on a second. I got one sitting here. I just need to take a look real quick. That's on your multi-button, right upper corner of your display. Multi-button will, as you tap that, it will sequence through those items. Compressor on at a 3, roger.
Compressor on at a 3, roger.
I have compression on at a 5. Should I turn it down?
Yes, sir. Compressor on at a 3. When you start exceeding the 3, it starts to be noticeable on the air and starts to be sucking up things between words, which does you no good. So a 3 on the compressor is ideal, roger.
3 on the compressor is ideal, roger.
Copy that. I just moved it down to compression on at 3. How about that?
Alrighty, so the next thing would be to move to your ALC meter with mic gain in hand, and as you say the magic word audio, and you use that word as a tone, a human setup tone, audio, adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is showing 2/3. 2/3 on your ALC meter by way of mic gain control, roger?
By way of mic gain control, roger.
Roger that. I'm trying to find what meter I should be looking at for that. Can you give me some guidance there?
I'll tell you what, it's the one below the main one. It's right in the middle there. It's number 2 down vertically, roger. And it only goes halfway to the other one, so you want to go halfway to the ALC meter itself, roger, roger?
ALC meter itself, roger, roger?
Yeah, I'm hearing you on that. I see my S meter, my SWR, but that's the only meter I see. Let me change the view to see if it gives me an ALC meter. 1 second.
I'll tell you what, note to self. Why don't you make a note there and work that out. You want to go 2/3 on the ALC meter. That's the nice spot to be in. 2/3, and you control that with your mic gain as you say the word audio. Just make a note to yourself to do that, roger?
Audio. Just make a note to yourself to do that, roger?
No, that sounds good. I have my gain on 40%, so it's pretty low. Just let me know if it's giving you any trouble.
I'll tell you what, take that up to about 55 and I'm looking at your audio on a VU meter and I can tell ballistically what your dynamic range is. So bring it up to about 50 and let me hear you.
So bring it up to about 50 and let me hear you.
November 7 Lima Charlie Tango on the 50. I got it at 55 now. How am I sounding?
Yeah, I would run it right at 55, but I want you to double check that later by your ALC. Take your book and find out how to bring your ALC up and verify that. It looks good, sounds good, but the ALC is the Bible for your radio. So you want to learn how to use that ALC meter, and it'll tell you in the book where it is and how to bring it up. And we suggest running that at 2/3, roger.
Just running that at 2/3, roger.
Roger that. No, that sounds good. I appreciate the guidance. Is there anything else that I can adjust or do to help my audio along? Over.
Might go to EQ, your EQ page. That's transmit sideband and 2 clicks tone control, 2 clicks boost on your treble EQ, 2 clicks hotter than where you are on your treble EQ, Roger? Hotter than where you are on your treble EQ, Roger?
Okay, so I copy EQ. Where will I find that on the radio?
That's tone control sideband. That should get you settings. Tone control sideband, Roger. Tone control sideband, Roger.
I've got that written down to look at. Where should my setting be on the tone control sideband?
Plus 2 clicks hotter treble EQ than where you are. Add 2 clicks more treble EQ than where you are, Roger. More treble EQ than where you are, Roger.
No, that sounds good. Do you have your IC 7300 in front of you where you could show me how to adjust that?
Well, it's self-explanatory. When if you have any doubts, check your book. But it's go to settings, go to transmit, go to sideband, and then that will and EQ, tone control, and that will give you your plus or minus on your bass and your treble, and you want to go 2 clicks. Boost on your treble from where you are, Roger. Boost on your treble from where you are, Roger.
No, I hear that. Sounds good. I'm looking for the settings. I see menu, function, scope, quick, exit, all on the bottom. I'm looking for the settings button. Over.
Okay, there's a thing that looks like a wrench, and a screwdriver is kind of an X. Do you see that? And a screwdriver is kind of an X. Do you see that?
Yes, I see it. It says set, so thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I think you can carry it from there. It's, pretty straightforward. If you want to go there, I'll hang out for just a minute. 2 clicks boost treble EQ. Hang out for just a minute. 2 clicks boost treble EQ.
I found the setting. Now I'm on TX bass, treble, wide. I think I see the TBW wide that you were telling me to adjust earlier. What are you saying I should hit 2 clicks above on?
On your treble EQ, plus 2 clicks additional from where you are on your treble EQ, Roger? From where you are on your treble EQ, Roger?
Copy that. How am I sounding now? This is with 2 clicks on treble, over.
You're sounding magnanimous. Just beautiful there, Seth, Roger? Just beautiful there, Seth, Roger?
Thank you for all the help. So with the, I'm trying to look at this, the 100 to 2900 pass band. How should I adjust that? Over.
You have 3 settings. One is narrow, medium, and wide. And you want to be on the wide. That's 100 to 2900, Roger? On the wide. That's 100 to 2900, Roger?
Roger that. I believe I was already set on the wide pass band. Do I need to do anything with the bass for my voice, or just leave it alone where it is?
I just leave it alone for right now. You're nice and intelligible. It got a nice top end. It's very understandable. It's not muddy at all. Very nice. And if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, it'll take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger? And I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger?
No, that sounds good. I heard you saying that. Is your name Jim Fergusson? I heard you announce that earlier and pulled it up here on YouTube. I think this is a very interesting thing that you're doing. I appreciate you helping me along with my radio.
Roger, Seth. Our ham aspects is just a part of that. It's Jim's radio story, and we have a lot of stuff, 2,600 programs of all different kinds of productions that we did in our career, and we were lucky enough in most cases to get the masters, and so when we put Radio Story together, we had a lot of stuff to work with, Roger.
a lot of stuff to work with, Roger.
No, this sounds good. This is great. I really appreciate this. I'm a relatively new ham. I just picked up my extra ticket last week, and so I've been slowly adding things to my repertoire of what I can do better. I started with a Yaesu ST890. It barely had a digital display, and I've gone through 4 or 5 different antennas before I've found the G5RV Junior, which I really liked, but I was constrained to 40 and 20 meters, and I wanted to work, I wanted to use my radio to its, full capacity, so I got the long wire up today, and I'm hoping to work 80 meters this evening, over.
Yes, sir. Neat thing is a rotary selector switch where you can run all those antennas and go through those in just a nanosecond, and particularly the two that are for 40. I'm assuming you have 2 antennas for 40, and you can go back and forth between those and check out which one's the hottest. And usually the hottest antenna for your receive is the hottest transmission back to the party that you're listening to. So with that AV switch, you can learn a lot about what's coming in, Roger.
You can learn a lot about what's coming in, Roger.
Yeah, I copied that. I think that's a wonderful idea. I do have one of those switches here. I left my G5RV up just in case the long wire didn't work out. I contemplated putting a switch on it this afternoon, but as I was climbing around through the woods and the mountains and slid down the hill and all of the fun things that come along with putting up a new antenna, I decided to put that on the to-do list for a later date, over.
Roger that. And you can juxtapose a second antenna that is counter to the first antenna. If you're running north and south on your first antenna, run east and west on your second antenna, and you'll get a totally different perspective between the two, Roger.
You'll get a totally different perspective between the two, Roger.
Roger that. I think that's really good perspective. I appreciate that advice, and we'll probably end up doing that before the weekend is over. Thank you.
Roger, Seth. Well, let me say 73, sir. Thanks for dropping by. And again, if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do the call letter search KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. And it will be a cut number 1 on this recording on a YouTube search, and we'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So 73, Seth. Have a great day and a beautiful weekend. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
All right, we're listening very closely here. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. We'll be recording now live till 5. So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
And just for kicks, we're going to try to go back to Milford, which is our normal go-to SDR. And right now we're in Michigan, but we're going to go to Milford and see if we can bring that up. And before it was coming up, but it was like it didn't have its antenna, and it's still looking somewhat suspect. This is KC9VKV. And we are broadcasting, and if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
And we're down in our Georgia SDR, and for some reason Milford is not working today, so I'm going to go back and go back to Michigan That's Southeast Michigan is the SDR that we're using in place of Milford today, and it's doing quite well. We're doing about 25 over in Michigan at the moment. This is KC9VKV, a Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. Qso-Vlog net.
Kilowatt 9, India, Quebec, Bravo, Mobile 4, North Carolina.
Let's see, Kilowatt 9, India, Quebec, and what was the last?
Quebec, and what was the last?
Bravo, Bravo.
India, Quebec, Bravo, is that correct?
Quebec, Bravo, is that correct?
Roger, 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 Roger.
Yes, sir, and what's the name there?
Yes, sir, and what's the name there?
Kirk, Kilowatt, India, Romeo, Kilowatt. Kirk, Kilowatt, India, Romeo, Kilowatt.
Roger, Roger, Kirk, and where are you located, sir?
And where are you located, sir?
I am in a parking lot of my hotel in Sparta, North Carolina. Sparta, North Carolina, northwest corner of the state. Northwest corner of the state of North Carolina.
Roger, Kirk, and what radio are you running today, sir?
And what radio are you running today, sir?
I'm running a Yaesu FTDX, Foxtrot Tango, Delta X-Ray 1200, FTDX 1200, QSL.
Roger, Roger there, Kirk. Well, if you'd be interested in a setup procedure, first thing is to make a note to check to see if you're in that 100 to 2900 wide band pass for your transmitter. 100 to 2900 wide band pass on your transmitter. A lot of folks aren't familiar with that, so we just suggest that you might make a note of that and check it later, Roger.
Check it later, Roger.
Roger, Roger. I appreciate that.
Yes, so that will give you the best performance for your transmitter. All right, our setup procedure begins with your engaging your compressor at a 3. Number 3 on that compression, and that's our standard setup, Roger, Roger.
Our standard setup, Roger, Roger.
Roger, Roger. My processor is currently off. My processor is currently off.
Yes, sir. I would turn it on and to a 3. Usually you can run a 3 in a mobile and not have a problem. So I would suggest compression on at a 3, Roger.
Compression on at a 3, Roger.
Roger. Compression is now on. Compression is now on.
Roger, Roger. And can you verify it's at a 3? We just want that compressor on at a 3, Roger.
Compressor on at a 3, Roger.
Let me check. I have to go to menu. Hold on.
Yes, sir, because what we're looking for is just about a third of the capabilities of your compressor. So that's a 3 out of 10, a 30 out of 100. It all depends on how your input to the compressor is labeled, whether it's a 0 to 10 or 0 to 100.
To 10 or 0 to 100.
Yeah, it's 0 to 10. And it is on 3. It is on 3.
Excellent, excellent there, Kirk. Okay, now move to your ALC reading and your ALC meter with mic gain in hand. And as you say the magic word audio, audio, spoken as you would speak any other word in a QSO. Don't stress it, just say it. The word is audio. And as you say that word, adjust your mic gain until your ALC is reading 2/3. And you use that word as a human tone, as setup tone, Roger?
Tone, as setup tone, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Audio, 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 audio. There it is.
Alrighty, and now if you would, why don't you tell me about 10 seconds about your antenna on your mobile.
Your antenna on your mobile.
Roger, Roger. My antenna is a ham stick by Diamond. Stick by Diamond. It's a typical ham stick with a bolt at the bottom. At the bottom.
meters through 6 meters. 40 meters through 6 meters. Through 6 meters.
Alrighty, Kirk, and you kind of fell down there just a little bit. Come back up and be on that mic, and let's hear you one more time and see if Mother Nature is going to pose problems for us, Roger. Pose problems for us, Roger.
Roger, Roger. The antenna is a ham stick. I'd call that a generic ham stick. It's made by Diamond, and it will cover 40 meters through 6 meters. 7 megahertz through 50 megahertz on the antenna, and it's mounted on the back rear compartment, the trunk, the lid of the trunk. Roger.
Roger, Kirk. I've got you loud and clear there. You're about 5 dB over Massachusetts, Michigan, a Michigan SDR that we're using today. It's usually we use Milford, Pennsylvania, but they're not operating today for some reason, so we're up into a Michigan SDR, but you're about 5 or 6 clicks over that, their noise level. And I also went down and checked Georgia, and you are about 3 or 4 clicks over Georgia on the noise level. So you're doing pretty well, Roger. Well, so you're doing pretty well, Roger.
Roger. And your handle, what is your name, please?
Roger, name here is Jim, Juliet India Mike. The call is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and we're located just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville, Roger. The Ohio River, right at Louisville, Roger.
Roger. Well, Jim, I appreciate this service that you do, and I was raised on the other end of the state, on Lake Michigan, the town of Chesterton, Indiana, and that's where I lived when originally licensed back in 1956. So we are from opposite ends of the state. I was born in Chicago, but raised near Lake Michigan there in Indiana. Roger?
Yes, sir. Well, I'm glad to see you lived through Chicago and you're still living. That might be in question if you were still living in Chicago, Roger. Well, that might be in question if you were still living in Chicago, Roger.
No, I'm out in Maryland now. I live out in Maryland, north central Maryland. Visiting a group of hams called the Friendly Bunch. The Friendly Bunch. And we're on 3919 every night of the year. And we are devoted to improving ham radio by modeling civility and encouraging interest by youth. So we have a kids' night. We're trying to get the youth into ham radio. And so anyway, we're down here having a good time meeting people that we only spoke to via radio and touching the flesh, as it were, shaking hands and having a great time this weekend. North Carolina, having a great time with the Friendly Bunch Concentration Group. Roger?
Roger Kirk. Well, good job, buddy. And that's what ham radio is all about, is sharing, our knowledge with the folks that are coming along. And that's the beautiful Elmer system that ham radio has, and is rather unique to ham radio to have so much assistance from our elders to help our new folks coming along to find out things and learn how to do things. So good job, sir. And we say 73 to you. I think you're sounding beautiful. If you want to hear your radio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
All right.
I searched for your call sign, / what's the last part?
Logbook. Just like you run a logbook, that's what it is. The word is logbook. Roger? What it is, the word is logbook. Roger?
Roger. Well, thank you, Jim. I will do that for sure. And God bless you for what you're doing. And have a great afternoon. Enjoyed meeting up with you. KC9, Victor, Kilowatt, Victor. Just opposite Louisville in the great Hoosier state of Indiana, K9IQB. Bye-bye, Jim.
Roger, Kirk, 73, sir. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net, and we are recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Norway 8 Sugar Delta Radio.
Norway 8 Sugar, come back with the whole call sign slowly phonetically.
November 8 Sierra Denmark Radio.
Roger, Sierra Denmark Radio. This is KC9VKV Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. Boy, you have a very wide bandpass on your audio system. I'm running a spectrum analyzer, and I didn't get a chance to look at it. I was busy ducking because my antenna was burning off. Why don't you? And I'm also on Michigan, a Michigan SDR that I'm not familiar with, but it does have a very full bottom end, and so you're looking good there. Come back and give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, and let me look at you, Roger.
Yeah, very good, Jim. The name here is Rick, Romeo India Charlie Kilo. We're located in Hamilton, Ohio. And yeah, we're running, should be running about 4K. That's about where we normally run, around 3.6 to 3.8, sometimes 4K. But we're in the 4K passband right now for transmit audio. And the radio is a Sun SDR2DX. Just playing around with some new alpha release software. So we've got that loaded up and give things back up with it. And the antenna is a 40-meter, standard 40-meter dipole. We are, like I said, down here in Hamilton, Ohio. So you have a very nice signal with me, Jim, as well. KC9VKV N8 SDR.
Yeah, Roger, SDR. And what's the name there?
Yeah, the name is Rick.
And Rick, again, your location, please.
Hamilton, Ohio. Hamilton, Ohio is about 17 miles southwest of Dayton.
Absolutely. And the radio that you're running?
Is a Sun SDR2DX made by Expert Electronics.
Sun SDR2DX, Roger?
That is correct.
Okay, I'm on my local antenna. You're just beautiful audio, very broad. You're down to about 25 cycles now. You know, I do suggest that you might pull that top end down to 29 because there are other folks that are trying to operate their nets in this area, and you know, you don't want folks coming and looking for you with pitchforks. So if you have a setting 100 to 2900, that's what I suggest. Not always can you run super wide like that, and through EQ I think you can just about establish as an intelligible curve audio wise at 100 to 2900 as you can at 4K.
Yeah, there's arguments about that. I did watch down band before I keyed up and did anything. I'm real courteous about that, so I do keep that in mind. And if the band is, obviously if there's a lot of activity going on down below, or just even 2 KCs below where I'm transmitting out at, I'll narrow back then at that point. But yeah, typically we run the ESSB stuff, and typically on 40 meters, as long as the band's not crowded, typically during here in the day and stuff, it's pretty open right now. There's quite a bit of activity up above you, and the next stuff I'm seeing here locally for me, transmit or receive wise, watching through the PAN adapter is there was somebody tuning up down at 7167, and then down below that at 7163. There's a Qso going on down there, but yeah, very nice to meet you, Jim, and hope you're having a great day. KC9VKV and 8SDR.
Roger, Rick. Well, gosh, just looking at this spectrum analyzer, just all across, all the way across. So you're a very broadband audio, just beautiful. Like I say, I am on my local antenna, so I know exactly. We're down to 100 cycles. You have activity down to about 25 cycles. I wish I could convert you to 100 to 2900, but I realize that you have greater opportunities frequency-wise at those higher elevations, but I think a lot can be done through EQ at lower, and then push. What we do is do 100, 2900, then push the top and let the top end limiter take care of that, and so it just gives us some syllabic activity in the 100 to 2900 range, and but gosh, if you could just what you should do is check out your audio. We'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. This will be cut number 1 in that series on YouTube. Roger?
Yeah, very good, Jim. Well, I just cut it back for you just a little bit here. I went to one of the narrower modes that I have set up, and I'd probably have to tweak the EQ on this setting, but this should be roughly around 70, maybe 80 on the bottom, and about 3K on the high, maybe 31. With the multiband compressor that we're running, it's going to push that out just a little bit more. But KC9VKV and 8SDR, this again around 80 to 3K there.
Roger, Rick. Well, you're still full way across the spectrum analyzer. Just a beautiful audio signal, and obviously I'm at 3K roll, so your excesses are not part of my reception. So I didn't hear much of a shift in your audio qualities. It just sound just a tad less on the bottom end, but the top end is still nice and tight. Roger.
All righty. Well, thanks for that information. I'll save this as another profile here. And again, very nice to meet you. I hope you have a great day and a nice upcoming weekend. And just real curious, I didn't catch the location there, Jim.
Yes, sir. We're down just across the river from Louisville. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville. Roger.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's not too far apart here then, really. But 40 seems to be playing very well between us. So, again, you have a great day, and you have a very nice weekend, and very nice to meet you. And hopefully we'll get a chance to chat with you again here in the next few weeks or so. So, take care, and all the best, Jim. God bless, good health. KC9VKV and 8SDR.
Roger there, Rick. Looking at the noise level just at the end, my VU meter is tied across the audio, so it is calibrated for your 0 level peaks. And when you see speaking, I see noise, and that noise looked to be down around 12 or 15 dB below your voice peaks. So just a beautiful signal. And if you would like to check it out on YouTube, I think you'll really love it in all of its forms, all of its passbands. Roger.
Rick, down to 185 when you're through here.
All righty, Jim. Yeah, I will certainly check that out tomorrow afternoon after you get a chance to get that uploaded. So take care again. All the best, and you have a great weekend.
Roger, Roger, Rick 73, sir. And you also have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
W6SFG.
Check out, give me a shout.
W6SFG.
Kilo Zulu 4 Bravo.
All right, that station ending in Bravo. Come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign, please. Come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign, please.
Kilowatt Zulu 4 Bravo. Kilo Zulu 4 Bravo. Over.
Roger, Kilowatt Zulu 4 Bravo. What I want you to do, sir, is why don't you give me about 10 seconds about your antenna system, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger. Let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
Who's the call there?
Our call is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Repeat again. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor.
Roger, Roger. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. This is Kilo Zulu 4. The antenna here is a horizontal loop for local. Here is a horizontal loop for local work. We're in North Carolina, so we're probably not optimum for 40 meters. We were up here listening to another station, and just thought we'd give you a shout because you're booming in here 5 by 9. Over.
Roger, Roger there. And what's the name there? Roger, Roger there. And what's the name there?
The handle is John, J-O-H-N, John.
Roger, John, and again your location, please. Roger, John, and again your location, please.
We're in North Carolina, about 25 miles north of Charlotte on the shore of Lake Norman, very near the little town of Mooresville, Mooresville. Zip code 28117. Over.
Roger, Roger, John. And what radio are you running today, sir? Roger, Roger, John. And what radio are you running today, sir?
We're using an Omni 6 Plus driving a Hercules 2 that's putting out about half power, and that's feeding a MFJ 998 antenna tuner that in turn is feeding a horizontal loop, non-resonant, about 480 feet in circumference. Over.
Roger, Roger, John. Well, I'm looking at your audio. You have very nice audio. It's about 3 dB dynamic range, which is exactly what we usually shoot for, which means your average percent of peak modulation is 80 to 85%. So nice job there. It could use just a little more top end for intelligibility. So I would suggest going to your EQ and cranking in plus 2 clicks additional treble EQ. Roger? Plus 2 clicks additional treble EQ. Roger?
Roger. We'll see what we can do, and thank you very much for the comeback, and you have a great day. Thanks for calling the net, and have a great weekend coming up. Over.
Roger, Roger, John, and if you want to hear your beautiful radio there, and I'm assuming you haven't cranked in your 2 clicks yet, but if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and we'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger? And we'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Best of 73s, and I didn't catch your handle. What is it, over?
Roger, Roger, John. Handle here is Jim, Juliet, India, Mike, and we're located down around Louisville, Kentucky. We're just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Roger. We're just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Roger.
Roger, Roger, Jim. Well, you've got a good signal coming in here. You're a solid S9. And this antenna's a big Scotch. The radio's not, but the antenna is. So thanks again, KZ. Full be clear with you.
Roger, Roger, John, and those 2 clicks additional treble EQ will really help your intelligibility when you find yourself in heavy QRM contesting or whatever it might be. When you're marginal signal, those 2 clicks additional treble EQ will really help you be understood in adverse conditions. 73 there, John, and have a good afternoon, great weekend. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. I heard somebody back in there, but try it again slowly, phonetically with your call sign. Try it again slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
WY0A.
0A, is that a Roger?
Whiskey Bravo.
0A, is that a Roger? A Whiskey Bravo station, I'm copying you much better right at the moment. A Whiskey Bravo station, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign. Whiskey Bravo station, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
Kilo Alpha 8 Yankee Whiskey Bravo. We are located about 40 miles north of Cincinnati, Ohio. Run about 470 watts. Into a 80-meter in-fed antenna. Radio is an ICOM 7300. And as to the working conditions here, you're a good solid 5.9 up here. We can change to a vertical and see if that'll help.
All right, why don't you do this? If you can switch fairly quickly, why don't you give me a 5 count, a 10 count, and at 5 switch from one antenna to the other. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, switch, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, switch, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Copy that. This is the in-fed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is the vertical, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right now, it seems like the vertical is about 2 dB hotter than the other antenna. The vertical seems to be about 2 clicks hotter than the other antenna. And what's the name there?
About 2 clicks hotter than the other antenna. And what's the name there? Yeah, name here is Bob, Bravo, Oscar, Bravo. That's strange that as close as we are that the vertical would be hotter, but because the other one I get a lot more invis off of it. But anyway, thank you for the report. Assume the audio is okay. Using a 7300.
Yeah, why don't you give me about 10 seconds, tell me the best thing you look about your radio, and let me get you, see if I can get you on my local antenna.
Thing you look about your radio, and let me get you, see if I can get you on my local antenna. Copy. Set up a 7300 here. Then I've got RSPA1 so I can use the remote if I want. Running through an Ameritron 500M. Running through an Ameritron 500M amplifier. It's pushing about 450 right now. And then using a AT600 auto tuner from LDG there. And then I've got the vertical is 10 through
and then I've got the inset is 10 to 80, and then I can switch the transformer 160 and 6. So pretty much set up for all the bands here. Kilo Alpha 8, Yankee Whiskey Bravo.
Roger, Roger, Bob. I had a good signal on my local antenna, but I did have some trash in there from an adjacent frequency. I'm not real sure where it is, but they were really banging in, not, the actual words, but the QRM from garbage, and it was also coming down from Rochester. So I wound up down in Georgia. You sounded really good down in Georgia. I could use a couple of clicks or two additional treble EQ, though, Roger, plus 2 clicks treble EQ from where you are.
Roger, plus 2 clicks treble EQ from where you are. Copy. I only got one to go, so I'll probably go up one on that and down one on the bass to kind of even it out there. So we'll try that and come back.
I would just leave it, leave that bass where it is. Just go ahead and get that extra EQ on the top there, that 1 click on the top, and we'll call it quits. Bottom is just fine, Roger?
1 click on the top, and we'll call it quits. Bottom is just fine, Roger? Copy. I just changed it. I'm up the one last click there. Is that any better?
Yes, sir. It's nice and articulated. It's amazing how just a dB of boost on the treble helps articulation, particularly in adverse conditions. Now, I've got a fine copy on you now, and if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube, do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
To this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger? Copy that. We use QRZ for our logbook, and we'll get you in there. Thank you for the comeback and the help. You have Kilo Alpha 8, Yankee Whiskey Bravo, 73.
Roger, Roger, Bob, 73, sir. Have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. We record now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Heard somebody station calling, and try it again slowly phonetically on your call sign.
Station calling, and try it again slowly phonetically on your call sign.
I think I heard a Kilo Alpha 9 or something like that. Try it again.
I think I heard a Kilo Alpha 9 or something like that. Try it again.
Yeah, station calling. Gosh, I just you're in there about a half a dB over my Michigan SDR, but I can't copy the words. And again, that's the interesting part about our setup. We really concentrate on the words. So, if you would like, I can give you some suggestions. I sure would like to get your call sign though. Come up on that mic and give me that call sign one more time.
No, come up on that mic and give me that call sign one more time.
Okay, I'm going to listen down in Georgia. I got the kilo part. Give me the whole call sign again.
In Georgia, I got the kilo part. Give me the whole call sign again.
Yeah, station, I can't copy you, but let me give you some notes. If you can copy me, I'll give you some notes. First note is you want to be sure that your transmitter is in the 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass. Transmitter mode 100 to 2900. If you're not familiar with it, look it up in your book and put your transmitter in that 100 to 2900 bandpass mode. Okay, our setup procedure starts with you engaging your compressor at a 3. Compression on at a 3. compression on at a 3. Then move to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you say the magic word audio, don't stress it, just say it as you would any other word in the QSO, audio. As you say that word, adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running 2/3. 2/3 on your ALC meter as you say the word audio, and adjust your mic gain for that. Roger, Roger?
Word audio, and adjust your mic gain for that. Roger, Roger?
Alrighty, and I can't give you any hint on your EQ because I just don't have enough of you to be able to even guess as to what you need. But normally, I tell you, if you were to go plus 2 clicks additional treble EQ, you'd probably be more right than wrong. So I would suggest maybe an additional 2 clicks on your treble EQ. Roger, Roger? All right, station, most interesting. I've never, I don't think, done a setup that I really couldn't hear the person, but you know, our setup is very generic, so if you can copy me and perform those functions, I think you'll be at a 3 dB dynamic range, and that means that your average percent of peak modulation will be 80 to 85%, and that EQ plus 2 clicks will get you a little bit more intelligible than what you are. So 73 Mystery Station, you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, and we'll have, well, I was going to say, we'll have your audio uplifted to YouTube by noon tomorrow, but there's not much there. I don't think there's anything there, just an occasional whiff of something, so 73 Station. Have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
November Whiskey 4, November, Charlie, Quebec.
November Charlie, Quebec, is that a Roger?
November Charlie, Quebec, is that a Roger?
QSL, this is Whiskey 4, November, Charlie, Quebec, Malin, and I'm near Asheville, North Carolina.
All right, name is Alan, is that a Roger?
All right, name is Alan, is that a Roger?
Yes, my radio's hanging up here. Okay, it's okay now. This is W4, yes, that's correct, W4NCQ.
Roger, and Alan, A-L-L-E-N, is that a Roger?
Roger, and Alan, A-L-L-E-N, is that a Roger?
It's A-L-A-N. There's, I guess, 3 ways to spell it. It's A-L-A-N, and I'm actually in Black Mountain. Black Mountain. It's right outside of Asheville, North Carolina, in the mountains.
I got you, Alan, in North Carolina. What radio are you running, sir?
I got you, Alan, in North Carolina. What radio are you running, sir?
This is a Yaesu 3000. I have trouble with the parametric equalizer. It's confusing to me. And amplifier is an AL80B, about 700 watts to a dipole.
Alrighty, well, why don't you give me about 10 seconds on that antenna system, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us.
Antenna system, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us.
Okay, for NCQ, I'm using the HIL 781, and the parametric equalizer in the Yaesus confuse me, and I don't know if I'm set up properly. When I monitor my signal, it sounds decent. So I wonder if you found a radio. Over.
Yes, sir. I wound up down in my Georgia SDR. You're about 15 over down in Georgia, and so I'm monitoring you from my Georgia SDR. Your audio EQ sounds pretty good. It's, could use just a little more top end, 2 clicks. That's my standard advice, 2 clicks additional treble EQ. And I think that you said you had a problem with that 3000. Is it a parametric like like 8-band parametric that you can move the width of each EQ point, Roger?
Move the width of each EQ point, Roger?
It's a 3-band. It's a 3-band, and the problem I have, for example, you asked me to increase my treble by 3. Well, it's not so easy. That means that I have to use the 3rd band, and right now that band is centered on a frequency of 2400. The bandwidth of that band is set as 2, which is next to maximum, and the level is set at 8, an 8 out of 10. So I could increase the level 2 points, and I could move the bandwidth up from 2400 up to I think it goes to about 3500, and I could change the bandwidth. So it's very confusing to me. Over.
Yes, sir, Alan. Well, gosh, you've got the best of both worlds. We want 2.7 on that EQ, 2.7K, and we want to increase the bandwidth to a 4. And then we want to go 2 clicks hotter on your level drive on that EQ than what you have. Plus 2 clicks additional treble EQ, and the EQ is set to 2.7K with a 4 width, Roger?
Set to 2.7K with a 4 width, Roger?
Roger, but this got me messed up. It's at a frequency of 2400. You want me to increase that to, I didn't write it down, I think 27. Anyway, you want me to increase that center frequency, and the level on this, the maximum is 10. It goes from 0 to 10. It's at an 8 right now. So we want to increase that all the way up to maximum on 10 for the level. And the bandwidth, it goes backwards. That is, the lower numbers is a higher bandwidth. I'm at a bandwidth of 2 now. You said to move it to 4, I think. That would decrease the bandwidth. The only way I can move it, it's a 2. If I move it to a 1, that'll give me maximum bandwidth. So if you want me to increase the bandwidth, I can go from 2 to 1. That'll increase the bandwidth. I can increase the level from 8 to the maximum 10. And then I'll move the frequency up, and I think you said 2800 or 2700. Is that what you want me to do? Over?
Yes, sir. I want you to make your bandwidth a 1, make your bandwidth a 1, your frequency a 2.7, and your boost all the way up to a 10. 2 clicks from where you are, a 10. Roger?
10. 2 clicks from where you are at 10. Roger?
Roger, I've got that written down. It would take me about 2 minutes to do that. I don't think you want me tying up the frequency, or I could do it now. But what I probably should do is try that after the fact. But I've got it all written down. It's 2.8 when we increase it to, and then the bandwidth all the way up to a maximum of 1, and the amplitude will be up to a maximum of 10, and that will give me, I guess, more highs. But I found that you can't count on that, because I've tried simply moving the center frequency or simply changing one of the others, and sometimes it actually reduces my highs when I think I'm increasing them. So I don't know how this thing works, but I have written down exactly what you told me to do, and I'll make those changes after I sign with you, so I don't interfere. This is a W for NCQ.
Roger, Alan. The magic frequency is 2.7K. 2.7. Write that down. That's the hinge point for your top end. 2.7K. Width of 1, full up on your boost to 10. Roger?
Full up on your boost to 10. Roger?
QSL 2.7. I don't know why I was reading it 2.8. It's written as 2.7. So anyway, thank you very much. It always seems when people increase their highs more often than not, it increases the intelligibility and clarity, and that's what I want. But I don't want to get to a EQ signal that sounds like I'm in DX mode, like I'm shouting and piercing somebody's eardrum, because I rag chew mostly. But I like high intelligibility, and since I've lost some highs in my own hearing, my age is 74 here, almost 75, I do like a signal that has lots of highs. So I'll do what you said, and I think that will help. It'll be a bandwidth of 2.7, and then amplitude of 10, and the other one will be set. The bandwidth will be maximum, which is 1. Thanks a lot.
Right, and we're talking about the width now. We want that wide as we can, Roger?
The width now. We want that wide as we can, Roger?
The bandwidth is on a 2, which is next to maximum. I'll increase that to a 1, as you said. Center frequency 2.7, and then the amplitude is almost maximum. It's an 8. I'll increase that to the maximum 10.
Yes, sir. Now, you realize that normally the width is, the higher the number on the width, the broader your EQ point becomes. So just, they may be a little backwards, but normally the higher the frequency of that width, the more broad that EQ is. So, and that's what we're looking for, the broadness of the shape of the EQ point, Roger?
For the broadness of the shape of the EQ point, Roger?
Yes, that's what I'll do. I've had this rig for several years, and maybe 5 or 6, and it was just maybe 6 months ago that I realized, because somebody told me, that the numbers were backwards, and that I thought when I was going to higher numbers I was getting broader. It's the reverse. Lower numbers are broader, and what you said is correct. It is unique, maybe not unique, but it's an oddity of this rig that low numbers are broader, and when I go from 2 to 1, I'll be going to my maximum bandwidth, and that's what I'll do. Over.
Yes, sir, Alan. And, just out of curiosity, and always I'm curious, if you have your manual, read about that and make sure that your friend was correct. The higher the numbers, the more narrow the bandwidth of that EQ point. Double check that with your owner's manual, or Google that. Google is pretty good at answering 3- and 4-part questions these days. So no major thing, just out of my curiosity. Roger? No
major thing, just out of my curiosity. Roger?
And by the way, I didn't mention, I am running compression. I'm running a small amount, 3%, over.
Number 3, what we usually say is a 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Just depends on how your compressor is labeled, but we only need a third of it. 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Roger?
We only need a third of it. 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Roger?
I think it's 100. I found that if I get more than 10, I definitely have too much. I mean, no matter how I listen to it, it sounds horrible. And it may be 3%. It's just a little bit. Over.
All right, I'll tell you what. Let's perform another check there, if you would, there, Alan. Take that to what is your input on your compressor? Is it 0 to 100 or 0 to 10?
Your input on your compressor, is it 0 to 100 or 0 to 10?
I'm not sure right now, and that presents a problem. I can make those other changes a little bit on the fly, but the compression, I have to the menu item right now. It controls compression and or power level. I've got it set on power level, so I'll have to change it to control the power. Then I'll have to change the compression and then go back to power. That will take longer than we have. But I don't know what the maximum is, but I do know that when I run 10 or higher, I'm distorted, and they just say I'm just blasting it. And when I listen to myself, I know that's not a good check, but in the monitor, it just gets unintelligible, much higher than 15. So I know I can't go in that direction. But if I get it to 0, it doesn't quite have the sharpness that it seems to have at 3. So it might be around 3%, not sure. Over.
Yes, sir, Alan. Well, let's. The thing is, you're at 3 dB dynamic range now, so we don't need to mess with that compressor. Whatever it is, it's just perfect. You're ballistically 3 dB, which means that your average percent of peak modulation is somewhere around 80 to 85%. So you're nice and intelligible. If you keep forcing it past that with more compression, you become blurry, and you defeat your purpose. So right exactly where you are now, I would just leave it right there. Get the duct tape out and taper down.
Leave it right there. Get the duct tape out and taper down.
Okay, hang on just a moment. I messed something up here.
No, Alan, no. Get the duct tape out. Don't do anything.
Alan, no! Get the duct tape out. Don't do anything.
Okay, I've changed one thing. The 3 things you told me to change, I've changed to 2700, 2.7. And the others are just as they were, over.
Yes, sir. 2.7 is beautiful. Then a 1 on your width, and you're maxed out on your push, Roger.
Then a 1 on your width, and you're maxed out on your push, Roger.
I'm almost there. Hang on.
Can I get mine?
Yes, stand by just a moment.
Okay, that's the one. I got one more to change.
Stand by just a moment.
Okay, Alan, go ahead, please.
Okay, Alan, go ahead, please.
Okay, it's now at 2.710. I've changed it from where it was, from 1 to 2.7. And 10, I have not touched the compression. Do you notice any difference?
No, just run it just like that. Don't do anything extra. Just taper down exactly the way it is right now, Roger.
Extra. Just taper down exactly the way it is right now, Roger.
Okay, I've done exactly the changes you asked me to do, and no more. Did you notice an improvement? Do I have more highs?
Yes, sir, you do. Your intelligibility is by leaps and bounds. And if you want to hear it, go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, and that will take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
To this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Okay, I'll get out of here. Thank you very much. And I assume that this is a 781 mic, and it's noted for having too many lows. I've got those rolled off big time, and that's okay. And so I'm all right now, according to your measurements.
Yes, sir. You're a little, not much in the bottom end, not heavy in the bottom end, but you're very intelligible. And in my book, I'd rather be intelligible than because there's a lot that can happen to you on that baseline. If you're real full in the bottom end, and then Mother Nature decides to phase cancel your top end, you're left as Mr. Mumbles, because it just takes the top end right out, and it leaves the bottom end, because it cancels from the top to the bottom in the audio spectrum. Mother Nature cancels from the top to the bottom. So the first thing that goes is all your top end, and if you have a heavy bottom end, it's just Mr. Mumbles. So I think where you are right now is just ideal, Roger.
Mumbles. So I think where you are right now is just ideal, Roger.
All right, thank you. I went against your instructions. I decreased my bottom end. It was a -8, and now it's only a -6. So there should be more lows, maybe not much more, over.
Just beautiful. Don't mess with it. You got it going on right now. Just perfect as it is, Roger.
Going on right now. Just perfect as it is, Roger.
Okay, well, this last change was okay then when I increased my lows, like you said I needed maybe a little more bottom end, and not needed, but might be better with some. So I did increase it from, it was a -8, now it's a -6 on the bottom end, which is centered around. I'm hogging the frequency. I think you've made some good changes. I can't wait to hear myself on your recording. This is W4NCQ, I'll be clear.
Roger, Roger, Alan. Well, I finally made it back to my local antenna. You sound beautiful. Sound beautiful there. And we're good down to 100 cycles, so you're just beautiful. I wouldn't change a thing. Get the duct tape out, tape her down. 73 there, and we'll catch you later. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net, and gosh, we did have another station in there. Other station, are you still there?
Did have another station in there. Other station, are you still there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I lost your channel.
209 Oscar Alpha.
Oscar Alpha station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Oscar Alpha station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Yeah, Kilo 9 Oscar Alpha.
X-ray India.
Was that Kilo 9 Alpha Oscar?
Was that Kilo 9 Alpha Oscar?
Oscar Alpha, Kilo 9 Ocean America, over.
Yes, sir. My dyslexia is playing havoc at the moment. Kilo 9 Oscar Alpha, Roger, Roger.
Oscar Alpha, Roger, Roger.
Roger, Roger.
We get it there. Okay, Oscar Alpha, where are you located, sir?
Okay, Oscar Alpha, where are you located, sir?
I am in Madison, Wisconsin, over.
All right, sir. And what's the name there?
All right, sir. And what's the name there?
Yeah, my name is Clark, Charlie Lima Alpha Romeo Kilo. And I have your call, but I don't have your name, over.
Yes, sir. Name here is Jim Juliet India Mike, Roger.
Yes, sir. Name here is Jim Juliet India Mike, Roger.
All right, real. Yeah, I'm copying the S9 today, over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I've got a substitute. Usually I'm running a Milford SDR, and today they're not operating. So I'm somewhere in Massachusetts, and it's got a heavy bottom end, more so than what most of these SDRs are rolling out at about 200 cycles. But this one seems to be down to, I don't know, but it's really, I think it's maybe just too heavy. So I usually try to get back to my local antenna. But anyway, Clark, as in Clark Kent, Superman, what radio are you running today, sir?
Superman, what radio are you running today, sir?
Yeah, very good, Jim. KC9VKV, this is K9OA, and I am running a Kenwood TS890S that I just acquired 1 week ago today, and I'm using an MC60 microphone, which I realize is probably not the best, and it's basically all in the stock and configuration, so I thought I'd run it by you, over.
Alrighty, why don't you give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path.
About your antenna system, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path.
All right, yeah, the antenna is favoring the southeast, so it's probably not the best antenna for Massachusetts, over.
Yeah, I've got somebody that's trying to tune about 1.5K to 2K off frequency. I don't know why they're doing that, but they sure are, raising havoc. Please, it's not nice to tune, on an active frequency. So I'm sure that's going to do a lot of good. Anyway, Clark, I think you were on my local antenna, but I was getting heavy QRM. Come back and tell me what you like about your radio, and let me see if our good friend is still doing whatever they were doing.
Yeah, I think they've stopped, at least for right now. Well, I'd say the favorite thing about this radio, hands down, it's the best receiver I've ever used, and I've used quite a few over my 45 years in ham radio, over.
Yes, sir, Clark. I have you on my local antenna, and you look fairly unprocessed on your audio, transmit audio. So I suggest our setup procedure will get you a lot fatter. And it starts with the thought about you being in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass. Make a note of that to check that later. You want to be in the 100 to 2900 bandpass transmit mode, Roger. And so let's move on with the setup. Starts with you engaging your compressor at a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100, depending on how your compressor is labeled. We just want a third of it, a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100. Roger?
Roger. Yeah, that's about exactly where it is right now on the meter, about 3 out of 10. Over.
Yes, sir. Okay, now move to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you say the magic word audio, you say it, but don't stress it necessarily. Just say it as you would say any other word in a QSO, and use that audio, stretch it out, and use it as a human test tone to set your ALC at 2/3 by way of mic gain control.
Audio. Yeah, I had to bring it up a little bit to get it to 2/3. Over.
All right, so 2/3 is that sweet spot where you want to be. Roger, Roger?
Roger.
All right, and what I want you to do is, to leave that out for a period of maybe a couple of weeks. And you've got to have something to do as you're talking, and so just keep an eye on your ALC, and you want to keep it in that sweet spot, and you can do that by your voice. And over a period of time, you will develop a relationship between yourself and your ALC to where you'll be able to keep that exactly where it needs to be. Roger?
Roger, and it's certainly a lot easier to do that with some compression on than without. Over.
Yes, sir. Well, we just want that 3, a token amount, but it does exactly what we need it to do. And if you're running the compressor at a 3 and you're running your ALC at 2/3, you will be at a 3 dB dynamic range, which means your average percent of peak modulation will be 80 to 85%, Roger. And that's nice and full. If you can make it fatter than that, but what happens when you make it fatter than 3 dB is that words start to blur, and you don't want that. You want crystal clear words, but loud, and that's where you are, Roger?
Roger. Yeah, like your audio has just got very crisp and clear articulation, so whatever you're doing is what I'd like to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, like I say, it starts with you looking at your ALC, and the ALC is the Bible for that radio, and you want to run that ALC at 2/3. That is the sweet spot. Roger?
Roger. Now there's the whole issue of the TX equalization on this radio. I think it's got 18 bands of EQ on it.
All right, let's go to your EQ real quick. What you need to do is you want to be flat between 400 and 1.6K. All of the controls between 400 cycles and 1.6K should be in the flat mode. Roger?
Okay, Roger. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this screen here. Hold on just a second. Okay, yeah, it's got... I'm now in the format pass mode, and well, that's probably not where I want to be. It's got everything flat except for 1.2 and 1.5K, which has got quite severely attenuated. Probably doesn't sound that good.
Well, I would say the first thing would be to flat all of the controls between 400 cycles and 1.6K. All those should be flat. And then what we want to do is on our treble EQ, we want to get up there about 2.7K and push that at about 5 or 6 clicks. And can you vary the width of your EQ?
No, it's not a parametric equalizer. So I just boosted the 2.7 plus 3 dB. Over.
All right, take that 2.7 on up there to, what's your max out on 2.7?
+6, and that's what it's at right now.
All right, you're still hot in your mids, so I would take what is the frequency range of the one below that 2.7?
2.4.
What is the one, I would, around 1K?
Yeah, there's, there's 0.9, 1.2, 1.5, 1.8, 2.1.
Okay, that 0.9 to 1.8 or whatever that is, those should be back maybe 3 or 4 dB. I don't know why you're really up in the mid-range, but we do need to pull those back just a little bit. Roger?
All right, well, I boosted the 2.7 to +6. Did you want me to actually take it down?
No, leave that one.
Okay. All right, so there's the 0.9 down 3 dB. And now there's the 1.2 down 3 dB in addition. And now the 1.5 is down 3 dB. So now 0.9, 1.2, and 1.5 are all down 3 dB.
Roger. Now, just out of curiosity, what's happening at 200 cycles?
Let me engage the audio scope here.
I'm sorry, what are your readings at 200 cycles?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking. It actually on the EQ, the first is 300 cycles is the lowest band on here.
Is that right? 300 cycles. That's your lowest EQ point for bottom?
Well, I'm not, because it's funny, because it says 0 and then 0.3, so I don't know what 0 is. I guess that's its overall gain.
But you're at 0.3 is the lowest EQ point, Roger?
Roger.
And it's at 0?
Yeah, it's at 0.
I moved that up 2 clicks out of curiosity.
All right, that's up now 2 dB. The 0.3 is up at +2 dB.
All right, and are you maxed out at your 2.7 treble? Are you maxed out at 2.7?
Yes, I am, but there's also 2.4 and 3.0, and I could boost those as well.
All right, 2.4 plus 4. 2.4 plus 4.
Okay, 2.4 is now at +4.
All righty, and tell me about the best thing you like about your radio.
Well, as I said before, the receiver is just phenomenal. It's just really quiet, and the filtering is fantastic. So, hands down the receiver. Over.
All right. What type of mic is that you're using?
Yeah, I'm using a Kenwood MC60, which I realize is, I've used much better microphones, but this was just the easiest thing to plug in and try. So it's probably not the best mic. Over.
All right. Are you on axis to that mic?
Yes, I am.
And how far are you away from it?
About 3 inches.
All right. That sounds good. It just doesn't have quite the top end that I would like anyway. Roger.
Roger. Well, my guess is that's probably the microphone, and I know that I got to get deeper into the menus on this thing. I believe there is a way to expand my bandwidth in the sideband mode. I think up to 4 kilohertz bandwidth.
Yeah, you don't want to be in that. You want to be in the 100 to 2900 bandpass. We can make up the rest of it, but you need to be in that 100 to 2900. If you get wider than 2900, you have people coming to look for you with pitchforks.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, well, what it's telling me now, I'm looking at my audio scope, is that the low cut is 100, the high cut is 2900, and my bandwidth is 2800.
Okay, so can you take it to 29? Do you have a 100 to 2900 transfer bandpass setting?
Yeah, that's what I meant right now, is 100 to 2900.
Yes, sir, and you're full up at 2.7K.
Roger.
All right, I tell you what, take that 2.4 plus 3 clicks more. 2.4 plus 3 additional from where you are.
Okay, well, I have 2.4 maxed out now, which is plus 6 dB. I could also go up to, there's a 3 and a 3.3 kilohertz also.
On your EQ?
Roger.
Let's see, above 2.7, wait a minute. The one below 2.7, take it back to where it's only a plus 3 level. That you're starting to sound real kind of funky there. So we want to take that 2.4 back to just a plus 3 or something, Roger?
Roger, got it back to plus 3 now.
Okay, and so above 2.7, what do you have?
I have 3, 3.3, 3.6, 3.9, 4.2, 4.5, 4.8, and finally 5.1.
All right, so the one above 2.7, take it up, max it out, 2.7, the one above 2.7, max it out, and let me hear you.
Okay, that's the 3 kilohertz. Now that's plus 6 dB. How does that sound?
All right, tell me about your antenna system.
Yeah, my antenna system is very basic. It's half of a W9INN 160, 80, and 40 dipole that I'm using as in a sloper configuration. Over.
Alrighty, that control below 2.7, take it back to flat. The one below 2.7, take it back to flat.
Okay, that's the 2.4, and now I have that back to flat. Over.
Alrighty, I think that sounds pretty good. I think that sounds about the best. You can EQ those upper frequencies, but they're not going to help you that much. 2.7 is the ideal hinge point at about a medium width as far as shaping of the EQ itself. So I think we've probably about maximized what we can do there, Roger.
Great. Well, that's wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and save this configuration.
Yes, sir, I would do that. And if you would like, check it out on our recording. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Great. Thank you very much, Jim. I will definitely do that, and I appreciate your time, and let you take care of somebody else. And you have a great weekend. KC9VKV, K9 Oscar Alpha.
Roger, Clark, 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, and gosh, that's going to wrap it up for us. I see by the clock on the wall, there is a dead fly. Ooh. So we got to get out of here. Let me say 73 to all, and if you participated, want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So we'll say 73 all, and be returning this frequency back to normal amateur radio use. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, clear.
Hey, quick comment on a remote audio. Quick comment, please.
Yes, remote audio. Go ahead.
Is Lightbrook your last name? Yes, remote audio. Go ahead.
I'm working a remote from a retirement community. Just trying to get my LC right. Please give me an honest report of audio quality, please.
Yes, sir. It's just upper mids. You need a little more bottom end there. I don't usually say that, but you are mostly upper mids at this point. So you could use 200 cycles plus 4, 200 cycles plus 4. Roger. 200
cycles plus 4. Roger.
All right, and you did shift out, and I did lose you there, and I had to go back to my local antenna. I had just a little bit of a copy on you. So, like I say, your signal was mostly upper mids, and you needed just a little more bottom end. So hopefully, if you crank that in, you'll be in good shape. When you do crank that in, since it is a low frequency, you might want to go back and double check your ALC for mid-scale to 2/3 operation, because when you add EQ, you're driving your ALC a little bit harder. So anytime you make a large EQ adjustment, you should always check your ALC. Roger, Roger.
Roger, and I appreciate the advice, and I thank you for what you did for Ham Radio. 7374 DSI.
Yes, sir. Come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
Big glasses, Whiskey 4, Baker, X-Ray, India, like 1953.
Baker, X-Ray, India, and what's the name?
Name is John. A retirement community, Asheville, remote through Mentone, Alabama. Thank you.
Okay, the transmitter's where?
Transmitter's in Mentone, Alabama. Telegraph KCS, Mentone, Alabama. Over.
And what is the transmitter? What is the name of the transmitter?
Telegraph K3N. I'm going to it via internet. Over.
Yes, sir. Kilo 3 Mary.
Kilo 3 Sierra. Kilo 3. It's a Kilo 3 with 1 mile. The Sierra mod. Over.
All right, so Kilo 3 Mary. Is that a Roger?
Negative. Kilo 3 Sierra. Kilo 3 Sierra. Kilo 3 Sugar. Over.
Now we're talking. Kilo 3 Sugar. Roger, Roger.
You got it. Thank you so much. We need you here every day, sir. Over.
Yes, sir. John, name here is Jim, Juliet, India, Mike. We're located just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville. Roger.
Roger that. Started with Southern Bell there many years ago, 1964. Thank you, Jim. I won't hold you, but appreciate what you're doing. Over.
Yes, sir. John, 73, sir. Have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday. If you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube, do a call in a search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. Will take you to this recording. I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So we got to get out of here. This is KC9VKV, returning the frequency back to normal amateur radio use. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, clear.